And indeed, it's another phenomenal morning on the Morning Machine, the machine that makes your mornings move. Thank you for making the machine a part of your daily morning routine. And I mean that with gratitude. That indeed I do. And with that, the morning routine means Empower Success Fest. We're going to talk a lot about that this morning. And if you haven't heard of it, you're going to hear about it today. You're going to be wanting to come into Atlanta from wherever you are. And if you're in the city, come into the city. So that way you can experience Empower Success Fest. It's definitely great. And I have two phenomenal guys to talk about it, and they are business partners. And they come together to create this phenomenal fest of success and empowerment that is sure to enlighten you to take that next step along your journey of entrepreneurship. Let's start with Dre Parker. No, not the guy from Brown Sugar. He's not the guy that played Dre Parker. He's the real Dre Parker. Not the guy that asked you, when did you fall in love with hip-hop? We're not talking about Tay Diggs and Brown Sugar and Sanaa Lathan and all of them folks. We are talking about the real Dre Parker, who is a licensed financial professional, if I can say it right. So you got me tongue-tied right now because I got the real Dre Parker in the building, okay? Yes. PQ coach, Psych K facilitator. Dedicated his life to helping people become better versions of themselves in the areas of business, finance, and life in general. Entrepreneur for over 25 years and a money legacy. Life coach over 10 years, and he has definitely developed all of his clientele in all facets of life, business, finance, everything. Then right hand man, 50 grand, Hakiim Herring. Let's talk about him. Visionary entrepreneur, award-winning. Say it again, award-winning. Put some respect on his name. Real estate broker and community leader with over 20 years of experience. That's right, Kobe years, 20 years in the game. In commercial and residential real estate. Founder of Herring Group Realty and Wealth Partners. He has overseen more than $500 million in transactions, making him a trusted, hear that word, trusted partner in building wealth through property investments. Your favorite real estate partner indeed. So, yes, in addition, he's a best-selling author, sought-after mentor, helped countless individuals achieve financial freedom through strategic real estate investing. And this is what's coming together to create this phenomenal event coming soon. Empower Success Fest. I'm welcoming as family to the Morning Machine. They're not guests. We've been family. We've been talking off air for a long time prior to this interview, and now it's time to dig deep and talk about Empower Success Fest with Dre and Hakiim. Good morning, fellas. How you doing?
Good morning. Wonderful, good morning. Wonderful, man.
I'm telling you, yeah, I know. Go ahead and say it. I need to introduce y'all everywhere, right?
Oh, yeah.
I was just thinking.
Well, you know what? We're going to come to the table about that, my guys. Yeah. That's what we're going to do because, hey, I can be hired. So, you know what I mean? Let's talk. In the meantime, what we really need to talk about is Empower Success Fest. But we're going to get to that. I have to go all the way back with every guest. I do this every single time. It's take it back to the old school. Let's take it to Union Square. Let's go back to the journey. How did all of this develop? I'm going to start with the Mayor Dre. Yeah, I say the Mayor Dre. I know Atlanta, we got a Mayor Dre, but the real Mayor Dre is in the building right now. Mayor Dre, let's talk about your start in business. Where did you develop not just the tenacity for this particular field, but you developed the passion, that light bulb moment? Talk about it.
Oh, man. So for those who don't know me, I grew up to a single mom in the projects, oldest of 4. Started working at 13, and basically I got introduced to entrepreneurship by a street vendor. So I'm originally from Middletown, Connecticut.
Okay.
This brother was like, hey, you could do this, Dre. I'm like, I can do it.
Yes,
so
you can.
I started. And in 1995, I opened up my first brick and mortar clothing store.
Okay, bet.
Man, and that was back in the day. Since we talking about back in the day, that was when we had the urban wear, like the Carl Kanai jeans and all. You remember? Yeah, you remember, right?
Fat Farm,
Shabazz Brothers, yeah, Fat Farm, all that stuff. So, and since I was close to New York, I would go back and forth to New York, get some wholesalers.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like what really inspired me to become a financial professional was my losses in business. So I would make great revenue. A little black kid from the projects, $3 to $5 grand a week. Sometimes we hit $5 grand a day. In 2 years, I'm out of business is because I didn't understand and have the business and financial acumen that I have today. Mm-hmm. So that was a struggle. That was a journey for me. Fast forward, I moved down here to Atlanta, and that's when I met all these wonderful AT aliens who took me under their wing. Right? AT aliens. Yep, you know what I'm saying? I had to throw that in there, right? you already know.
I see where you're going, right?
You already know. You already know. So they took this kid from up north and said, hey, you know what? We're going to teach you entrepreneurship, teach you how to actually understand money. And so that's when I really got passionate.
And it's interesting. You develop that passion from there, then you develop it even further to really radiate that passion onto others who really want to know. Now, what was the best advice that you took from your mentors at that time, which really drove you to enhance your passion?
Oh, man. Being in the right environment.
Facts.
Always. Because you'll be a product of your environment, right? If you allow your environment to either influence you to grow or you could use your environment to actually destroy your dreams.
Right.
So I always, I would say I learned late in the game, like after all these failures, and I realized, and a lot of people don't like to hear this, but the common denominator is you.
Yeah, it is.
Always, right? We always self-sabotage when it comes to our business, right? Yeah. We always think like, we have this overinflated ego and saying, oh, I got it. Yeah. I'm overconfident. I'm good. I thought I had it too, making sometimes 15, 20 grand a month at 22 in sales and didn't know what to do with it. So I think we have to learn how to be open and humble ourselves to saying, what is it that I don't know? Who is it that knows what I don't know, and let me connect with that person?
So when you took this and you noticed that a new generation is coming up, a lot of our community, and you know what I mean by our community, the black community, African American community, however you want to put it, however you want to slice it, we're more in tune now with getting our finances in order in different ways than ever before. We weren't always in the know, even dating up to the early 2000s. We weren't always in the know.
Right.
And so how important was it for you to be able to develop the next generation of youth that are able to really be able to not just have the generational wealth, but to be able to teach the generational wealth?
Right. So the first thing I had to realize is our parents, and it's no disrespect, our parents and our grandparents didn't have the tools. They did not know about generational wealth.
That's correct.
Look, we thought that generational wealth or legacy, I always say, was a picture in a photo album that says, hey, baby, this your great-great-grandmother so-and-so.
And then the history, what they did back in that time.
Right.
And you thought the legacy was all about just the family name. Now it's about the family name and the finance legacy that goes with it. Right. With your family name. And that's something even bigger to uphold now more than ever with the involvement of technology and what's happening. And, there's so many things that we still don't know. There's a lot more people far advanced than us, and we're just now starting to catch up, but we're catching up at a pretty fast pace. And a lot of people are not okay with that. I hate to say that. I hate to say that, but because we're black-owned, black-operated media, we're going to say it. If we don't tell our stories transparently, who is?
That's right.
So, and the who is us. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to say it with our chest like we mean it. Yeah, we are catching up fast, and there are a lot of folks uncomfortable with that.
Right. They're uncomfortable because they're not used to the change. And we have to get uncomfortable and start unlearning a lot of things that was given to us.
Facts.
Unlearning and relearning.
I love that we say that in unison, because now with you stating that, now that gets me to Hakiim. Now I want to turn it over to you, Hakiim. Come up to the mic a little bit.
Yes,
Come up to the mic, because we about to talk. We're about to talk because I want to take it back to the old school, take it to Union Square with you now, because I want to know when that light bulb moment was for you when you decided to jump into this particular industry.
Okay, let's see. Well, my background, I'm from New York, upstate New York. Actually, maybe about an hour from where Dre is from.
Okay.
Originally came to Atlanta for college, right? So I was one of those guys who, I went to DeVry, but I always hung out at the CAU, Clark, Atlanta. All my guys went to Morehouse, Clark, Atlanta. So I was always in Atlanta, always in the city. And my journey from real estate started really when I got serious about where I wanted to go in life. You know, during college days, you know, it's a bunch of hanging out, you know, enjoying college life, but there's uncertainty about the future. But in my spare time, I would read a bunch of books, right? I would read, you know, Think and Grow Rich, you know, the whole Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I would just read as much as I can. And in the books, it had a common denominator. If you wanted to be rich, or if you wanted to have a success in life, you had to have the foundation of real estate. They say 70% of millionaires or wealthy people all establish their wealth from real estate. So I was like, okay, that sounds good to me. That's where I need to go. So I wanted to learn the business from the inside. So I decided to get my real estate license at 21.
Oh,
so
nice.
At 21, I got my real estate license, but it wasn't until I got a mentor. Right, I actually got a couple of mentors that helped me along the way on my path to success. So mentorship has been extremely important and guiding me along the way. So real estate has really been an eye-opener and a game changer for success in my life. So that's where it started. It started from making the decision and moving forward and taking action and moving in that path.
Absolutely. And along that path, you had a plethora of mentors, just like Dre.
Yes.
And so with your mentors, what was the piece of advice that really stuck with you, that really led you to enhance your particular passion for this industry?
One thing that stood out to me, and it's still to this day, it stands out, a piece of advice I got from one of my mentors. And they told me, you want to be a resource, right? You want to be a resource. So in real estate, when someone thinks about real estate, whether they're looking to buy a house, sell a house, or if they're even looking for a contractor to hang a picture in their house, you know, whatever it comes to real estate, you want them to think of you and be that resource. So you can actually keep your name on the forefront of your clientele and be that go-to person for all things real estate. So it's important for you to build your relationships, build and maintain those relationships over the years, and be that go-to person, that resource when it comes to all things real estate.
Absolutely. And so when you're seeing this new generation coming up, and I just wanted to hear, I ask you both the same question because I want to see, you know, the different responses here, because there's always a great thing when we're looking at the youth of the next generation that are wanting to learn generational wealth and just wealth in general, financial literacy earlier and earlier. Now they're literally toddlers and growing. They're wanting to know finance now. They're starting to grasp that passion because of people, those guys, those women, everybody, they're looking up to you guys and people in your field to carry them to the next generation so they can be able to teach effectively. So how does it feel for you to see that and be able to be one of the leaders to lead the next generation to victory?
Man, the next generation, man, they actually have I hate to sound like sound old. I sound like an OG when I start talking like this. But
we're young. We're young OGs.
Yeah,
it's fine.
You know, I was like, back in my day, I used to have to walk 10 miles,
Back in my day, we didn't have school buses.
Exactly.
We had to walk 10 miles.
Yeah. No, the younger generation now, they actually have it a lot better and a lot easier, and they have a better understanding and access to information, which leads to, because that's the key to everything, is the knowledge base. Having access to the information, and they have access to resources to make it, to get into positions where they can actually have generational wealth. Like, I think now the younger generations, they have access to YouTube. They have access to the internet that can give them a lot of information, and they're not afraid to go out and try. A lot of times in the past, we were limited because of fear. But now I feel like the newer generation, they don't have that fear that we had back in our younger years. They actually utilizing the resources, the technology, and they're actually going out and doing it. And they're utilizing, YouTube. They're utilizing their own platforms. They're utilizing relationships well beyond what we did, And I think they have a leg up. And I look forward to the next generation and seeing their success as they grow.
Absolutely. And would you say, and this is for both of you, would you say that the creation of the World Wide Web, when we were introduced to this in the early to mid 90s, was more of a blessing, a curse, or both?
I would say both.
Yeah, I would say both. Yeah. What do you say?
I give it a blessing,
Right.
I give it a blessing.
And why do you say that?
I say it's a blessing. One, when it first came out, we didn't understand the power, and we didn't understand the full potential of the World Wide Web.
Right.
But grasping that, and even now, I think we're still in the beginning stages of where we're going. But just giving us access to information, resources, and tools at our fingertips, it puts us in a position where, our grandparents would have never imagined what we can do right now in the palm of our hands.
That's very
true.
So
that's why, to me, I look at it as a plus, where it's a positive thing, where we can do so much more than previous generations, and the future is, it's unlimited.
Absolutely.
Right. I definitely agree with that. That's why I said it's like a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
Only reason why I say that is because of, paralysis of analysis, and it's over information, right? And it also, because think about it like this: every strength that you have, or every great thing, there's always the equal opposite counterpart.
Yeah.
Right. And like I said, a car could be used to make you travel and get to point A to point B, or it could be used for vehicular homicide. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like, there's people using the web, which I believe is the blessing. I see your face. A blessing, right? But the curses could be like, man, there's so much overuse of information, and then they don't actually go out there and take action. And that's the reason why we created the Empower Success Fest. Go ahead, talk about that. Go ahead.
I wasn't expecting it to go that direction, but that was terrible. That was terrible. But it's terrible, but true. Yes.
Right.
So there you go. There's your context on both. It can be a blessing and a curse.
Right.
But really, the blessing of it all is they can also use that car of theirs to get to Empower Success Fest, because using that car, not for vehicular homicide, but using it to empower and transform their future. And Empower Success Fest, which is going down very soon in a couple of weeks on the 21st of September. And I see you got quite a lineup from Dr. Curtis Jasper, Frankie Murphy, Kim Kidd, Tony Edwards, Erica Hill. You got a lot of people on the panel, including yourselves. You got to include you guys. You guys are doing a lot, and you got a lot of great people on the panel that will continue to empower that success into our community and just pump that passion right into the community. So talk about how we got started to come together for Empower Success Fest, the development of it all.
Empower Success Fest is really the brainchild. Is something that I wanted to do years ago, right? But fast forward to now, present day, my partner Dre and I, when we sat down and talked about the Empower Success Fest, we really wanted to do something to impact the community.
Absolutely.
We're doing it in the historic West End. It's a community-based event, and we are bringing all of these powerful speakers together because I really feel that we have to share the knowledge. We have to share the knowledge. There's no gatekeepers to success, you know. We have to share the knowledge, and within our community, that's what's going to allow us to go to the next level. So putting individuals like you and I in front of a room of other like-minded individuals, the youth, we want to give them something to aspire to, you know. So when they see someone like you and I in front of a room and speaking of our success and some of the lessons and losses and some of the story of success, they can relate to it. So it was important for us to pull together several different genres. Like we have Kim Kidd in government contracting. We have Sophia Bracey, who's a nurse who actually went from nursing to starting her own nursing staffing agency. We have, you know, Tori Edwards with Atlanta Influences Everything. You know, we have different genres of people that we're bringing together, and from their story, from their trials and tribulations on their road to success, there's a lot of lessons in there that our attendees are going to get an incredible amount of knowledge where they'll be empowered to take action for themselves along their path to success. So that's what it's all about.
Well, you know what? Well, how about this? So, you know, I'm going to do something a little different during this interview. I'm going to turn this room money green because it's going to be a lot of financial growth coming out of this particular festival. Now, I want to say this. Everybody out there in Radio Land understand that there are sections to this. There are levels to this Empower Success Fest. There's going to be we're going to be speaking about not just business and entrepreneurship, but health and wellness, generational wealth, community, everything that you need. And this is a well-balanced event. Well-balanced. And it's well-balanced because we need it. And it's for us by us.
Yes.
And that's why it's in the historic West End. Historic West End, if you know, a lot of history has happened over there. Not to mention, historically, it's still a black community. No matter how much gentrification you think is going on over there for all the Atlantans and the ATLians, shall we say? Some people say Atlantans, but for us, we say ATLians. If you know, you know. It's still a historically black neighborhood. And this is why if we have something for us, by us, in our own backyard, in our neighborhood, then we need to be taking the steps and be proactive and not reactive. After someone has came, well, I might go next year. You might not. So this is the year to really get yourself in gear. Like what I did there. So, so let me ask you this. Why was it important, and either one of you could answer this, why was it important, or maybe both of you could answer from your standpoints, why was it important to break everything up into sections? Because I'm looking at it, you have a section, business and entrepreneurship, health and wellness, generational wealth, and community. These are the four distinct parts that need to be built in our community right now, to this present day. Why was it important to break it up?
Right. There's so many events out there that speaks about, you know, the buzzword of generational wealth, entrepreneurship, getting to the bag, right? Yeah. So there's always that outer wealth persona, right? So we wanted to balance it out, or should I say, keep everything in harmony, because there's an inner wealth that we don't talk about in our community, right? In order to get to the outer wealth, in order to be successful in business, you got to have the inner wealth. And that's why we wanted to make sure that we brought those four pillars together, because entrepreneurship is great, but what are we doing entrepreneurship for, right?
Yeah.
Generational wealth. Okay, what does that look like?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, like is it just buying some real estate or having a life insurance policy or investing? No, it's actually deeper than that. So that's why we have all these experts here, like estate planning attorney who teaches you those things along with myself and my team. Hakiim is going to be on that panel as well because we talk about generational wealth in 5 components, right? You got to have the mindset. So in that room is going to be people who have actually proven that using the mindset you can be successful, right?
Right.
Then you also got to have a family mission and vision statement. We talked earlier about, hey, what's the mission for Morris Brown? What's the mission statement for any business that you have? So you got to have that for your family.
Right.
You don't start a business, you start a business with the vision of the end in mind, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then we also have to talk about building and buying assets, which is very important in our community since we're way behind, right?
Yeah.
Building and buying assets, and what kind of assets are they, and how do they look? And then we got to talk about creating the infrastructure of legally protecting those assets. And then the last section of generational wealth is all about the generational wealth hub. Like, how do we, as parents, right? Because it starts with parents or guardians. How do we create the purpose for the family, the principles for the family, right? And also, how do we protect the property of the family so we can pass it down, you know? A lot of us are starting from zero. But we didn't want to just leave it there, so me and Hakiim got together and said, oh, we got to have a psychologist there that talks about the mental health aspect of building a business, the emotional intelligence part of building a business, and last but not least, the community, right? We want to have community leaders.
Right.
So that's why it's very important that we have all these things harmoniously working together.
Absolutely, and they seem to be working together quite a bit because you have really all facets. And the real important part of all of this is that not only are you teaching this, but now even doesn't matter if they're young or they're a lot more seasoned, right? So you can't say, oh, you got to say seasoned, or you got to be, you know what I mean? Even no matter if you're young or you're seasoned, right? Still, it's seeing us, seeing people that look like us in the same room and really feeding and being a sponge of information, a wealth of knowledge, if you will. That's where the real generational wealth is. Sure. It starts with retaining, knowing, listening, retaining, and radiating that knowledge, teaching the knowledge that you have to others who may not have attended. They may not know who you two are. They may not know anybody on the panel. But after someone has attended, it creates quite a lasting impact. And that's where the real generational wealth is. Generational wealth is not always related to finance. It's not always related to finance. It's about how much more information can we receive in a timely fashion to be able to reach the next generation, and that next generation being better off than we were. I feel like the generation of a lot of my cousins and I came up mid-'80s, 80s babies, right? And so our uncles, our parents, our grandparents, they left something to us. They left a wealth of knowledge. And I grew up around 5 guys. Five men in my uncles who are all entrepreneurs. Every last one of them. I had the distinct honor and privilege of being raised in a family to see that, and they looked like us. Not everybody has that luxury. Not everybody has that privilege to do that. And that's why Empower Success Fest is important, to be able to see, even if you didn't grow up in a family of entrepreneurs, this is a chance to grow a family of entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
And they're not, and not by blood. And it doesn't have to be, just by knowledge. And that's why I said this is really important, because there's a lot of events that do this sort of thing. However, this is different because you're able to really be one-on-one. And that's what I see out of this event. I know I'm talking here. Yes, I know Radio Land. I'm talking, but this is what I see. The Empower Success Fest does those two things. It's going to do those two things: empower and make you successful. As long as you have what was just described, the mindset, and you really have that tenacity to go. And so what else can we expect out of Empower Success Fest besides all of the phenomenal people that we have as panelists for this year?
Yeah, actually, you just touched on one of the biggest takeaways from the Empower Success Fest, and what makes us different than some of the other events is we want it to be a scenario where we have real takeaways. Yeah. We want it to be a scenario where you have our speakers and the panelists. These are real tangible people, where you can have a one-on-one breakout session, or we can have a Q&A where you can actually ask these people questions and get direct answers, direct gems that you can apply that to your life right now. Because the going theme for the Empower Success Fest is take action. You know, we don't want to talk about it. We want to implement these ideas, and we want you to take action. But the biggest takeaway is going to be where you as an attendee, you can go and talk to Hakiim and ask him about real estate. You can go and talk to Dre and say, hey, I had a question about XYZ. Or you can talk to the estate attorney and say, hey, I always heard about trust. Is there anything that you can give me to help me along my path of getting this set up? So I want us to double down on the fact that this is a community-based event, and we're bringing speakers that you can really have hands-on interaction with our attendees to have some real takeaways. So when you come to Empower Success Fest, be ready to feel empowered, be ready to take action, and be ready to know that you have those resources and the support from the professionals who have done it that can help you along the way to your path to success.
Yeah, and that's very important. And even on that road to success, it was never perfect. It was not easy. Everybody, even the people that are going to be on stage with you guys, they have failed at some point along their way, even multiple times along the journey. But they never gave up. They still continued to be passionate about everything that they did, and here they are. And now they're radiating this over to the next wave of people that will be empowered, and they will be empowered to be successful. And they will develop the mindset. They will develop, even if they don't have it now, they're going to develop it. And I think that's where the biggest takeaway is people are going to come, listen, and really put the knowledge to use. And I think that's where the biggest impact becomes when and people don't tell you for years until they pop up at an Empower Success Fest in like 2028 or 2930 or something like that, when now you're not in West End, you're a block away at World Congress, because it's Empower Success Fest has become that's my speaking to existence moment. I have it on every
we knew
interview.
what it was.
Yeah, you knew it was coming.
Same vision.
So yeah, visionary when it's at World Congress Center. And people are booking that hotel up all the way to the top to come to Empower Success Fest, is going to be because people have not only been inspired, but they have become successful, and they have a story to tell. And so when it comes to that level of impact, and I'm sure people have told you before, but after this particular, there's something about this one that it's a Kobe year. It's 24, right? It's Kobe year, right? And this is the season of impact. Kobe made an impact on the court and off the court, right? And people, even including myself, I'm sure a lot of sports heads, especially if you were a Laker fan or you were Lower Merion High School, Philadelphia, you were a fan, you watch Kobe's career. the career was nothing but greatness. And he continues to inspire people even well after he's gone. It's been, 4 years, almost 5 now, since he's been gone, and his legacy still continues. But NBA players are inspired. When it comes to Mamba mentality, mindset, if you will, people are still talking about that. That it's, even in sports or not sports, they're talking about Mamba mentality when it comes to everything. And so you guys are going to develop this mentality here at Empower Success Fest, and somebody's going to come back to you 2029 when you're at Georgia World Congress Center, as I said, and they're going to talk about their story. Remember in 2024, you sat me down and we talked about what I was dealing with, what I was going through, and why I was so stuck on this project and just couldn't go forward. Well, I went forward. I took your advice and went forward, and now you have the success story. It's not just a fest. Now you got testimonials coming from that. Now, what's it going to be like? And I just want to ask this as a kind of a fun question, but a powerful question. What's it going to be like when you really get that success story? You've already had them, but that real testimony, that deep testimony from Empower Success Fest. What's this going to feel like to you?
It's actually going to feel like it feels right now in this very moment.
Yeah.
Because you really can't separate it. It's like Kobe knew he was a champion before he seen that shadow in the
he knew he was a champion before the state title at Lower Merion in '96.
Right,
yeah.
right. Mm-hmm. And we're doing it, and it's funny because we always talk about, it's always bigger than us. Hakiim came to me, and I was like, I'm in. Because his vision and my vision, it's always not about us. It's bigger than us. Mm-hmm. And if we can change ourselves, which we did, and we're continuously doing, upgrading ourselves to become better, if we can influence that and get others like us, we can actually change the world. You know what they always say, you change yourself first, then you can change the world.
Right.
So we've had a certain level of success, and mind you, I think the biggest challenge for most people is, especially during the social media age, is like, well, what does success mean to you? A lot of times people give you what they think is successful, but we're living in success in this very moment just to be here at the beginning phases of Empower Success Fest. So we are successful. We're going to have a whole lot of testimonials of other people becoming successful, and they just got to step into the room, because the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement, and we all need that.
Gem right there. Y'all better have caught that. So now your turn.
For Empower Success Fest, this is just the beginning of something that's going to continue to grow and continue to make an impact. Our vision for the Empower Success Fest, we're starting here in Atlanta, in historic West End, but we plan on taking the show on the road. We plan on going to other communities and impacting our community. It's important for us to bring this knowledge base of professionals to our community across the country, because I want it to be a scenario where a young entrepreneur such as myself, if I take it back 20 years ago when I was in college, I would have loved to go to an event and see someone that looked like me, that understood my language, my lingo, understood some of the things that I've been through.
Where you are.
Yes.
Yep.
Right where I'm at, and can be a guiding light or something to aspire to. Yep. So that's what we want to give our community. We want to give back. That's our give back to our community, and we want to keep it in our community and make sure the Empower Success Fest is not just about, you go to some of these events and it's all about selling courses and selling programs and things of that nature. Yeah. This is all about giving back. And however we can give back to our community, I think that's how we empower the next generation to go to the next level. So that's where we want to take it.
Absolutely. And so, y'all pretty much covered all of the bases today. I'm so interested because you guys have come up with something. First of all, you're on to something, and you're going to continue to be on to something for years and years to come, especially taking it on the road, because there are a lot of people in different cities. You're going to get a lot of testimonial stories and I hope that you're ready for them. Some may have you. Hey, look, let me run to the bathroom real quick, and then you just kind of, wow, yeah. You just you shed a tear thinking about it, because you have people from different facets of life, different neighborhoods, still inspired by the fact that, hey, someone looks like us, brought an event to our community, to our backyard, and no one has ever done that before.
Bro, I'm just sitting here listening to you, and I'm just thinking, going back in my life, what if my mom, a single mom, what if she would have went to an event like this? It could have changed the trajectory of our family. And this is why we have to expose our community to things like this.
That point, and see that I like how we're feeding, because, as I said earlier, I was blessed and fortunate to be able to be in a family of 5 entrepreneurs, and one of them being my Uncle Stan, who was, the guy. And then, but everybody will say, the whole family will say, no, they got it from my Uncle Kenneth, who was the oldest, and really taught entrepreneurship, even though he worked at a supermarket. You see what I'm saying? He knew entrepreneurship and taught entrepreneurship and gave the general wealth of knowledge from what he knew, based on being young and working in a supermarket. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. And all just from those moments right there turned into CEOs that run cable networks and telephone companies, or run online businesses, or what have you, or do radio. Three of them did radio. One of them you can hear every day. That's right. You can hear him every day, and you probably didn't even know it. But still, pulling it back, what I'm saying is there are a lot of families who were not fortunate to have an event like this come to their neighborhood, or they may have had a great speaker, but it was too costly for them to get into it at the time, because they had to pick and choose between the lights or go to this event, the rent, the mortgage, or go to this. That's what our community has faced quite a bit. And we find ourselves in positions where we're shut out of that knowledge because we have to make a financial decision. We can't. The irony of not being able to get a wealth of financial knowledge because of a financial decision you have to make at home. The tough decision, which is why it was harder for a lot of us in our generation coming up to be able to get that particular knowledge. And it feels like we've been shut out of that knowledge, but really we kind of shut ourselves out of it because of the decisions, the hard, super tough decisions of life that we have to make at home. And now that there are multiple streams of income, we didn't have that kind of technology then. 80s, 90s, early 2000s, it was a little slow, but it was coming around, right? Mm-hmm. Didn't have that technology, or it was less availability of that technology. Not everybody could have internet in their homes in the early 2000s. Now everybody has it in their home, and almost everybody. And so now the access to information is a lot better now than it was even in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. And here we are in the new millennium already. And so I love the evolvement of where this is. And now the kids can say, my mom was able to go to this event. My dad was able to attend this event. It was called Empower Success Fest. And I remember whatever information you're about to give that mother or father comes back tenfold in about 10 to 15 years, you're going to be surprised that a kid came up to you and said, my mom, my dad, or both my mom and my dad went to Empower Success Fest way back in 2024, 2025, and this is why I'm into finance right now, and I'm in high school.
There you go. Wow.
This is a little kid in this age,
right.
But by the time they circle back to you, they're now a teenager in high school. They're like 15, 16, and now that testimonial right there. And see, a lot of people don't understand the impact that's made. I think you guys fully understand what impact is about to be made. So I could talk all day about this. You know what I'm saying? I could talk and talk and talk all day because I know the listeners really by now. Even if you're just catching it now, you need to be. I don't care where you come from. We got the busiest airport in the entire nation. Come through. You know you want to fly to Atlanta and come get some empowerment, come get some tools and gems to success at Empower Success Fest. This is happening Saturday, September 21st from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Fly in. If you're in the city, come on MARTA. MARTA goes to West End. I mean, figure it out. Get there. Get there. Get your tickets and get there. Speaking of get your tickets, how can they get their tickets?
All right. They can just go to empowersuccessfest.com. As simple as that.
Absolutely. And all the information is right there at your fingertips. The access to the information is right there for you. Go ahead and get your tickets. Not now, but right now while you're thinking about it. We're going to give you some music for thought in just a minute. But also, if they want to really connect outside of Empower Success Fest, how can they do that with the both of you?
Outside of Empower Success Fest, I can always be reached at success@HakiimHerring.com, or just go to HakiimHerring.com, my website, and it has all of my information, all of my contacts there. But yeah, I would love to speak with you.
Absolutely. And for me, I have a special treat. Everyone go to mymoneyandlegacy.com. That's MY money, MONEY, and AND Legacy, LEGACY.com, mymoneyandlegacy.com. Subscribe for free. I have a free educational platform for everybody and anybody. You can get me on everything there as far as financial literacy, money EQ, all the things about generational wealth, the 5 components to generational wealth. So I teach a lot of stuff for free because we tired of the excuses.
Yeah, basically.
So, because, you said something earlier, information, right? A lot of information out there. But I'm bringing the information and implementing that into education and then implementing that into the action steps, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because the action steps, that's why Empower Success Fest is all about take action.
Yeah.
It's not about, it's like doing what you know, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's all about the actionable items.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, and by the way, speaking of mymoneyandlegacy.com, how about that reverse banking method?
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait, hold up. That's high level stuff right there.
Yeah, man. I had to mention that. I do my research here on this show.
Oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy.
A whole master class.
It's a master class.
Because you know what? Why can't we use other people's money, right? Leverage to build wealth like most of these other cultures have.
That's enough said right there. Don't you get into it. Don't you give it away on this show.
I'm not.
I saw how you lit up when I said reverse banking method, because it's all right here. That's why you need to go to mymoneyandlegacy.com as well. So these brothers have something for you. Matter of fact, it's so great I dropped my pen. That's the second time I've dropped my pen. Every time I get into it, for those who know, every time I get into an interview and I'm really locked in, I get my pen. And this is the second time I've dropped it. I've dropped it with another guest in the last month, and because the interview was so powerful, and this is another testament that the interview is so powerful, you just start dropping stuff. Well, there you go. You heard it here first. I dropped my pen again, and that is a testament of how much power and empowering success that will come out of this festival here in 2024, a Kobe year. You're going to unlock the secrets to success from the leaders in this great industry. So you definitely want to make sure that you are going to Empower Success Fest today. Get your tickets, please. Get your tickets. By the way, is the event on social media? Tell them.
Social media.
Yeah.
Our social media, Empower Success Fest. Everything is linked back to Empower Success Fest.
Gotcha.
From the website to the Instagram, we're all tied into Empower Success Fest.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like how we say absolutely in unison. It's all the agreement. We just love it. They're like these brothers are so phenomenal. I mean, they are bringing the wealth of knowledge and gems to our community. And it starts in Atlanta, but it's going places, literally going to different cities. Look out in a city near you because they're coming to your backyard, okay? Philly, Chicago, D.C., Charlotte, Tampa, Miami, Jacksonville. I'm just naming a few cities. New Orleans. Listen, they're coming to you. When they come to you, just understand that you're going to get the greatest knowledge that you can possibly get. And if you're serious about generational wealth, learning financial literacy, and tying all of that into your community, then you show up. And not just show up, but be a sponge of knowledge and retain that information, and then show out. That's how you do it. My guys, I thank you so much for being on the Morning Machine. You know you always got a radio home here. Come on back. We might have to come on back here to get a recap in a few weeks, maybe next month, about Empower Success Fest. So I want matter of fact, that's what I want. I want the both of you to come back here sometime in October to tell us what happened, everything that happened, all the organic moments. We're going to recap Empower Success Fest. That's what we're going to do because not everybody's going to be able to be there. We get it, but we could for darn sure tell you about it. And we will definitely tell you about each and everything. So expect to come back in a couple of weeks. You can't get rid of me even if you try. We family. This is your radio home. You understand me? So that's what it is. So Dre, Hakiim, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And Hakiim, I'm glad you didn't ask where did we fall in love with hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad we didn't tease Dre today. Yeah. We didn't tease Dre today.
I came in the door. I said it before. I never let Mike magnetize me no more.
Yo, this is classic. Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. We got hip hop lyrics for everybody in the room. I like it, and that is why we are here on the Morning Machine, the machine that makes all of your mornings move. So while you're getting the information, while you're getting your tickets locked in and everything like that, we are going to give you some of this great music that we got right here on the Morning Machine. Let's go.